Most people think the real war in crypto is Bitcoin versus Ethereum. But there's a quieter, more tactical battle happening in the background. A battle not just for market dominance, but for control of global cross-border payments. That war, it's XRP versus XLM, two coins with shared DNA, radically different visions, and one common goal: to become the backbone of international finance. The story begins with Ripple and Stellar, two networks founded on similar technologies but diverging in philosophy. XRP, the token powering the Ripple network, is aiming directly at big banks and financial institutions. It's corporate, sleek, and regulatory friendly. Ripple Labs has spent years forging partnerships with central banks, government agencies, and major financial players. It wants to replace SWIFT, the decades-old system currently moving trillions globally, with something faster, cheaper, and blockchain-based. XRP is the coin that promises to modernize the very heart of banking infrastructure. On the other hand, Stellar and its token, XLM, took a different route, created by Jed McCaleb, the same man who co-founded Ripple. Stellar was born out of frustration with Ripple's centralized direction. So McCaleb split, launched Stellar, and designed it to serve the unbanked. XLM doesn't court Wall Street or central banks. It's all about peer-to-peer low-cost, fast transfers for ordinary people, microtransactions, remittances, decentralized finance. Stellar is trying to build a global payment highway that isn't gated by institutions. Both XRP and XLM use consensus mechanisms that differ from traditional proof of work. They don't rely on mining like Bitcoin or Ethereum 1.0. This allows for lightning-fast transactions, sometimes just 3 to 5 seconds, and extremely low fees, often a fraction of a cent. But while their underlying tech feels similar, their positioning in the market is where the true rivalry begins. Ripple, the company behind XRP, has inked deals with over 300 financial institutions around the world, including names like Santander, Bank of America, and SBI Holdings in Japan. They're building bridges between different fiat currencies, replacing Swift's slow and expensive transfers with near-instant swaps via the XRP ledger. In fact, Ripple's on-demand liquidity product, known as ODL, is already live in dozens of corridors, facilitating real-world transfers between nations in seconds. But here's where it gets more interesting. Ripple has been fighting a long, drawn-out battle with the SEC in the United States. The regulatory uncertainty surrounding XRP has made some investors and companies cautious. For a while, exchanges delisted XRP, investors pulled back, and Stellar saw an opportunity. Stellar has positioned itself as the neutral good guy, the network with open-source governance, no pre-mined wealth hoarded by founders, and a nonprofit foundation driving its mission. It has also made big moves quietly, striking deals with companies like MoneyGram and even the Ukrainian government to help develop a central bank digital currency prototype. Stellar's strategy isn't to dominate the banks. It's to work alongside grassroots solutions and governments trying to leap into the digital era. And yet, both projects are playing a similar game. Both want to be the layer that moves money across borders. Both want to be the standard for remittances, stablecoins, and digital banking infrastructure. And both are fighting for the same territory, just with different armies. The real question is, which model will win? XRP is the institutional sledgehammer. It moves billions. It's fast, powerful, and has the resources to lobby regulators, strike billion-dollar deals, and reshape the future of central banking. It thrives in a world of rules, regulation, and scale. XLM is the people's champion. It's the coin for the unbanked, the migrant worker, the startup fintech, and the developer in Nairobi building an app to send money to Manila. It thrives in agility, accessibility, and flexibility. And while it doesn't have Ripple's war chest, it has community and decentralization on its side. Now consider the geopolitical angle. As the US, Europe, and China race toward launching their own CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, they all need infrastructure. Some are building from scratch. Others may rely on existing blockchains to power these new systems. If one of these governments adopts Ripple or Stellar technology to handle settlements across borders, it could instantly give one project a historic lead. But there's a twist. Jed McCaleb, the man behind both projects, dumped billions of XRP after leaving Ripple, shaking confidence in the project. Yet he continues to quietly build Stellar in the shadows. Was Stellar always his real vision? Or just the backup plan after Ripple went to corporate? Meanwhile, Ripple is fighting its way through courtrooms and regulatory traps. And still managing to grow, it's the corporate juggernaut that refuses to die. And every time a bank signs a deal, every time a corridor opens, XRP gets closer to what it always claimed it would be. The new Swift, but then again, XLM keeps shipping real products for real people. In Latin America, Africa, and Southeast Asia, Stellar wallets are making a difference. Its partnership with MoneyGram allows users to cash out crypto at retail locations in over 300,000 branches worldwide. That's real-world impact today, not just a promise for tomorrow. So while XRP is climbing corporate towers and fighting legal dragons, XLM is building footbridges across rivers in the jungle. Both are pushing forward. But the paths couldn't be more different. Now, the question remains, which future wins? To really understand this battle, you have to look beyond just the tech and market numbers. It's about the motivations and strategies driving Ripple and Stellar and how they fit into the bigger global picture. Ripple, with XRP, is going Elon on the institutional market. This is a game of billion-dollar contracts, complex regulations, and strategic alliances. Ripple knows that to replace SWIFT, the decades-old global payment system, it needs the trust of central banks and regulators. That's why it invests heavily in compliance, lobbying, and partnerships that bring legitimacy. But this approach comes with risks. The ongoing legal fight with the SEC in the United States is the clearest example. If the courts decide XRP is a security and not a currency, it could seriously hinder its adoption in the US. This legal uncertainty doesn't just cloud the market. It also impacts investor confidence and price stability. Meanwhile, Stellar and XLM take a different path. They embrace decentralization, simplicity, and immediate social impact. Stellar's focus is on opening financial doors where big banks don't reach, sending remittances for migrant workers, giving unbanked populations access to basic financial services, enabling microloans for small entrepreneurs. These are the areas Stellar wants to own. Its open structure, transparent governance, and lack of heavy corporate interests make XLM feel like a people's currency. This attracts developers, NGOs, and local governments eager to experiment with new ways to increase financial inclusion. In practice, this means Stellar can move fast, pilot innovative projects, and adapt quickly to local needs, while Ripple has to navigate the slow-moving waters of regulation and corporate interests. So the competition isn't just technical or commercial, it's ideological. On one side, the global financial establishment trying to reinvent itself without losing control. On the other, a quiet revolution aiming to democratize money, access, and tear down long-standing barriers. That is what makes the XRP versus XLM rivalry so fascinating, because it represents a much bigger fight than just price or market cap. Another key difference is each token's ecosystem. XRP benefits from a robust infrastructure with hundreds of institutional partners bringing credibility and scalability. Its protocol is optimized for huge transaction volumes, and its on-demand liquidity product has already proven itself in real significant cross-border transfers. But its reliance on centralized entities like Ripple Labs can be seen as a weakness, especially in a crypto world that increasingly values decentralization. Stellar, on the other hand, grows around a diverse, open community. Its nonprofit foundation pushes the network's use in social projects, governments, and startups. It's also moving closer into the stablecoin space, digital currencies backed by real assets, aiming to power fast, low-cost payments that ordinary people and small businesses can rely on. And this is where the battlefield expands. Because the real fight isn't just between two cryptocurrencies, it's a race to build the future financial rails of the world. While Bitcoin debates scalability and Ethereum shifts to smart contract dominance, XRP and XLM are quietly laying bricks beneath the global economy. Whoever wins this war may not just influence finance, they may control the very pipes through which the world moves money. Stellar's strategy is grassroots. It doesn't need boardrooms or government hearings to make an impact. Its value comes from the ground up, in places like Kenya, the Philippines, and Argentina. Developers are building payment apps, mobile banking tools, and remittance services on Stellar's blockchain, often solving real problems in real time. These aren't hypothetical use cases. These are farmers receiving payments in seconds, students transferring funds with nothing but a phone, and small shops avoiding fees that eat into razor-thin margins. Its partnership with MoneyGram is a turning point. It's not just a crypto-to-cash solution, it's access. Over 300,000 retail locations around the world now offer cash-out services for Stellar users. That means a grandmother in El Salvador can receive digital dollars and turn them into real bills down the street. That's utility, that's reach, that's what adoption looks like. Meanwhile, Ripple continues to court the biggest players. It's not trying to disrupt the system, it's trying to upgrade it. That's why central banks are listening. That's why companies moving billions are testing Ripple's rails. And that's why XRP, for all the controversy, remains a serious contender. The technology is already there. The XRP ledger processes thousands of transactions per second, settles in seconds, and costs less than a penny. But what Ripple sells isn't just speed, it's stability, legal clarity, and trust in a future where institutions still matter. So the question isn't just which one is faster or which one has more partnerships. It's deeper. It's about worldview. Do you believe the future of money lies in empowering the underserved from the bottom up? Or do you believe it lies in transforming the institutions already in power? Because Ripple and Stellar aren't just building software, they're building ideologies. Ripple believes change happens by convincing those who already run the system. Stellar believes change happens by giving tools to those left out of it. And in a world where both approaches have merit, where top-down influence and bottom-up pressure collide, the answer might not be either or. It might be both. Perhaps Ripple becomes the new standard for central banks, remaking SWIFT from the inside. And perhaps Stellar becomes the network that powers the street's local economies, fast-growing regions, emerging markets. But make no mistake, they're still competing for partnerships, for adoption, for mindshare, for the chance to become the invisible backbone of global finance. And every time a central bank launches a digital currency, every time a fintech app chooses a blockchain, every time a cross-border transaction skips the fees and hits the chain, the war inches forward. This is the quietest, most strategic battle in crypto, one that will shape who controls the flow of money in a digital age. So the next time someone tells you crypto is just Bitcoin versus Ethereum, ask them if they've heard about the real war, the one between XRP and XLM, because one of them may very well be the rails your money rides on tomorrow. In the end, this isn't just about crypto. It's about control, about access, about who gets to move money and who gets left behind. Ripple and Stellar are two sides of the same coin, one seeking to reshape the world from the top, the other trying to rebuild it from the bottom. But whichever future wins, the truth is, the old system is already breaking. Fees are too high. Transfers take too long. Billions of people are still locked out of basic financial tools. And whether it's XRP powering central banks or XLM serving the streets, something new is rising. The world is changing fast. And if you're not watching closely, you might miss the shift entirely. If this video opened your eyes, if it made you think differently about the future of money, subscribe to Wealth Unlocked right now. Hit that bell so you don't miss the next deep dive into the stories shaping our financial world. And if you've made it this far, drop a comment with the word crossroads, because that's exactly where we are. This is Wealth Unlocked, and your journey to understanding the future of wealth starts right here.